Hey guys, welcome. I'm in my Mickey Mouse pajamas, so bear with me. So let me welcome everyone. Let me say hi to members, Patreons, subs, future subs, former subs, everyone in between. And of course, my amazing mods. If you had signed up for Patreon in the last week, I have not even been on there, and I apologize. I am dropping a video on there Monday. So again, if you're on there, I am so sorry I've not been on there. If you sent me a message through there, I've just been really super busy, which is a good thing. So tonight is part 3 of Scott Peterson. There are a couple things I want to say first. I do have some bad news to share about Serenity. I was going to go live as soon as it came out, but I was in the middle of wax. As you can tell from my hands, it's still pink. Serenity, they found her dead, or they found her bones. I don't have all the details because I haven't followed up with it from this morning. But I do know from hearing little things all day that the parents are in jail. And I don't know if the parents told where she was or what happened. But the parents, I keep saying the parents, not the parents. The mother and the stepfather are in jail for, I guess, a murder. So that's one update. Second update, oh, I forgot to post it. Second update is my sponsor, Intrepid Candle Company, is having President Day sale. Because I'm live tonight, I'll start it tonight, but it's 15% off everything. But you can't start it until my live is over because I don't have the coupon yet because I forgot to do it. So I apologize. So that's one thing. That was the other thing. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. One thing that I do have to say that I'm not going to get into, but if I didn't say it, I would not be me. So I got to say it because I am me. I don't want to hear about what happened over at Marissa's. The whole thing is nothing but a shit show that shouldn't even be public. The hysterics, the fake hysterics that she so easily exudes is a fucking joke. It's an absolute joke. She can turn it on and off like that. It's an absolute joke. I don't want to hear it. All she has to do is put him in rehab. The hospital's not going to do anything. So I don't want anyone coming in here. There is Monica. I know what, Monica, I'm glad you're here. I want to show you something. Hold on. So I have been burning this since 8 o'clock this morning, okay? Notice, you can't really see it. There's no black at all. And this is a big-ass candle. The flame looks a lot bigger than it is. But there's no black around it. That's why I told you I would make you another one. Because candles should not have black around it. So that means that the flame is too high. You got to cut it down. But if you're getting black and it's not even giving you a good flame, that's a problem. So I want to, Monica, now that you're in here, remember I told you should not have black around it. This has been burning since this morning. There's no black. That bit of wax is exactly how it should be. This is a tester. I wanted to see if the wicks I was using were going to work right. No, normally they do, Michelle, but like Monica's candle, there was something wrong. I don't know what it was. Maybe I used too much mica. I don't know what it was, but it's like it didn't even get a good flame and it had black around it. And I was like, oh, hell no. As soon as I saw that, I said, I'll replace it. I don't know what's up because it should not have black. Black is soot and shit. So, always cut your wigs down, your wicks down. Especially wood wicks. You always want to cut them. When you get a bunch of wax, I'm going to start putting more directions. Instead of just a thank you note, I'm going to put total directions. If you get a Fruit Loop candle, make sure you remove all the Fruit Loops. They're wax, yes, you put them in a wax burner, but you want to remove them because otherwise it's too much wax for the wicks and it won't burn right. So that's that. You look like a cease and gonna burn up. Huh? What is the mica? It's mica. I don't know what you mean. What is the mica? Yes, I said something about it a little while ago, Candy. Clean burn, exactly. Good for people with asthma. Yeah, take the Fruit Loops off. Now, some people don't know, and it's my fault for not telling people. So, but whoever ordered a Fruit Loops candle now, who's waiting for one, you guys are getting 23-ounce candles. They're very, very big. It's like the one I just showed. It was kind of an accident, but I got you guys the bigger jars. So, do you think the parents will be charged? The parents are charged. They're in jail. Yeah, you just want to take off the Fruit Loops. So, the purpose of the mic is to give it glitter. To give it a glittery, like a glitter candle, it just makes it really pretty. But if you use too much, it will, not drain the wick, clog the wick, and then you won't get a clean burn. So, I've been using a lot less. Hard to do in those tall jars. I missed that. All my other candles burn great. Good. You know, some of them, some scents burn differently. It's all trial and error, but I have so many scents that there's some of them I haven't tried. Hey, Steffa, but some of them it's my own fault. Oh, hard to do in those tall glass jars, and they're always black. That is not black. That's what I'm saying. Mine is not black. Looks like my head is on fire. My head is on fire. Woo woo. Alright. So going back to what I was saying. So all Marissa has to do is take 5 seconds, go on the internet, and look up a rehab. And put him in rehab. Instead of all the dramatics, instead of all the bullshit, instead of all this nonsense and the fake crying and everything else, that he's not the hospital's problem. It's not their job to take care of your friend. Put him in fucking rehab. That's it. Done. Plain and simple. So, if anyone comes in here saying anything about it, out. Done. I don't care. So, there's that. Oh, which reminds me. Let me do this real fast in case anyone wants to order while I'm live. Hold on. It, will literally take me only a minute. Coupons. Can you put him in rehab with him being sick like that? I'm saying if the hospital turns him down. But the hospital could very easily turn him down. Coupon. President's Day. 15. Discount. 15. Apply to all products. And it's good for 2 days. Well, it would be 3 days, right? So it's the 19, 20, 21. So we'll go to the 22. Because I don't know. There's no, specific time. Alright. So we'll go until Tuesday morning. It's 15% off anything in the store. Okay. So it's President's Day 15, all capital letters. All right. Well, because someone came in already saying it. Subscribe to you. I left a comment after you last night. Just wanted to thank you again for being fair to everyone. Oh, absolutely, Becky. Also, speaking about being fair to everybody, I am going to do open panel tonight. Where's my Lindsay? I got the one from the other day. That's what that one's made already. And by the way, let me also say this real quick, and then I'm getting out of candles. If you want to add to an order you already have, just email me or PayPal me. I'll tell you what your total price is without shipping. This way you don't have to pay for shipping twice. I added like 30 or 40 new scents on the website, but I haven't added them all to the actual when you order. So I have a lot of existing orders that I'm currently making. So if you have an order in already and you want to add a candle or you want to add a scent using the President's Day sale, that's fine. Just PayPal me, but email me and I'll tell you what it is, or message me on the website and then I'll tell you what total price is with tax and without shipping, and then you can just send it. So there's that. All right. She can afford it. Just put the chocolate factory down. I agree. All right. So there was one more thing I wanted to tell you guys, and now I forgot. Oh my God. I don't remember. Danny, I'm going to explain. All right. So for those of you guys that did not go to Twitch last night, you're probably wondering why I feel, open panel. Thank you. So I'm going to do an open panel, respectful discussion. You don't have to go on camera. I'm going to set up StreamYards on my other line. I'm going to do it like a call-in, like I see a lot of other people do. People sometimes get more comfortable when it's like a phone-in. So I'm going to do it like that. So it'll technically be like a phone-in. You guys can still see me. And anyone wants to have a healthy debate, come with facts. What I'm going to say to you, because I won't do this to you, don't come up here to say, well, he's guilty because I said so. Yeah, that's not going to fly. Don't say he's guilty because he cheated on his wife. I want facts. We know he cheated on his wife. We know he's a piece of shit. We know that he's garbage. But show me the proof that he killed his wife, and I'll show you the proof that he didn't. So that's where it's at. I know she asked me today if I had looked more into something. I was like, ooh, we're getting somewhere, Lindsay. All right. So, all right, let's get into this. I was not on the jury. I have not looked through thousands of papers, thousands of papers. Why is I'm jailing up? That's a good idea. Assisted living? I don't know. I know he's got Medicaid. If he gets food stamps, he gets Medicaid. Yeah, we were on Twitch last night. So, all right. No more candles, no more Molly. The Medina burgers from across the street, the morning Laci disappeared, free Scott, not guilty. Brian, I agree with you. But I don't even know if it has to do with the robbery, and I'm going to explain why. Now, I originally watched, all right, let me back up. The A&E documentary was very defense-sided, meaning that they took the side of the defense. They were letting the defense explain all of the things that never made it into trial. We all know Mark Aragos is a hell of a lawyer. So with Mark Aragos being a hell of a lawyer, you kind of have to take some things with a grain of salt. fancy wording or, putting in his own circumstantial evidence of how Scott didn't do it. So originally yesterday, the single factor for me that caused me to believe in all this time that Scott Peterson may not be guilty is actually different than what I'm going to tell you today. So the robbery across the street, there were multiple reasons as to why I believe that maybe, just maybe, he didn't do it. But he definitely is not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That has never changed in my mind. Last night, I pulled up, someone sent it to me, Connor's autopsy report. And it coincided with exactly what Scott's sister was saying. One of the key factors in this is I'm going to show you what we learned last night. You guys have questions, that's fine. But one thing that popped out at me that didn't hit me 4 years ago when I was watching the show originally. So anybody that watched it back in 2017, I would highly recommend watching it again, because I picked up things last night that I didn't even remember hearing or even thought about the first time. So the San Francisco Bay is, what did we say, 9? I looked it up. There are only 9 cities in the entire United States that are bigger than the San Francisco Bay. So think about all the cities in the United States. And there's only 9 that are actually bigger than San Francisco Bay. That's how big it is. It's like, I don't know, 550 miles. I don't know, but it's really big. Scott Peterson was there on December 24th, Christmas Eve of 2002. The bay has tides. I mean, it's not like it's connected to the Pacific Ocean, but it's not like, you're going to get these big tidal waves. You're not going to get that. But you're still going to get a current flow of water in any direction. So the defense, and to be honest with you, I haven't even heard anybody say this except me last night when it hit me like a ton of bricks. They didn't even say it at trial. Garagos never even said it. They said that Laci's body washed up in the area that Scott was. Okay, nobody really questioned it. It made sense. Well, Scott must be guilty. And a lot of people based it on that means he's guilty. Okay? But now think about something. This is the water. You have tides. You have a flowing flow of water, current. Do you know what the odds are that a body is going to wash up in the same area within, I forgot how many miles, 20 miles, within 20 miles of where you were 4 months later? Think about that for a second. 4 months later. Her body wasn't found a week later. Her body wasn't found 2 days later. Even 3 weeks. It was 4 months. So you're going to tell me that in that flowing water and the current, where the current goes, they happen to find her body within 20 miles of exactly where he was. Think about that. It's impossible. The odds of that happening are about someone getting struck by lightning 5 times in the same day. Is it possible? Yeah, it's also possible Summer Wells got taken by aliens. Is it probable? No. So that turned out to be, well, I shouldn't say it turned out to be a lie. They never found any evidence of this. That was the prosecution theory, that, oh, she was weighted down by anchors. Even if she was, okay, and I thought about this last night, even if she was, if her body was so weighted down with anchors that she rose to the surface because the animals or erosion or whatever ate the anchors away. All right, let's just say that's the case. What part of her body was on an anchor? Because they never found any other part of her body. So where is the anchors? Where is the body? Why would only her torso, with baby intact no less, be the only thing that survived with no organs inside of her? She was almost completely hollowed out. So the anchors, if she floated up around and the anchors were below him, which would make sense, that's why she floated up at that time. And that's why she was in a 20-mile radius. Okay. But where's the rest of her then? Where is she? If her body stayed, if her torso with baby intact stayed there, then guess what? The anchors would be there. The arms, head, something would be there. Something would be there. An organ, a finger, something. Nothing. Not an anchor, not a bolt, not a chain, nothing. So again, I go back to, what are the odds that her torso with baby intact, and mind you, her baby was found right there too. So they both were found right there within 20 miles. But nothing else was ever found. Again, chains don't get eaten. Anchors don't get eaten. Cement doesn't get eaten. So where is it? Where's the rest of her body? Where is the umbilical cord? Where is all of the things that would have to fit into place to make sense for her body and the baby to be found at the bottom? I mean, together within a 20-mile radius. Think about that. It's not the ocean. The area he was in is not even deep. Chains, anchors at bottom. They checked it. There was nothing. They never found anything. The baby was found separate, but the baby was intact. I don't remember exactly, but the baby was like intact and very close to her. They were both found together. It was single-handedly the reporter yesterday that made me feel, why I felt he was innocent to begin with, had a lot to do with the fact that the reporter from, I forgot his name, was there on the 26th from 5 o'clock in the morning. He said there was not a robbery across the street. There was no white van. There was nothing. The house was silent. The burglars said that they didn't rob the house on the 24th. They did it on the 26th. And the cop said, oh, okay, we'll believe you. Were you not called to the house or something? The people who own the house said it was the 24th. But most importantly, a reporter for ABC, I think, said there was no robbery on the 26th. I was there all day. Never left. Stationed here all day. No robbery, no white van. Nothing happened on the 26th. There was an audio tape in the prison that a cop, a correction officer, had recorded. Told his officer that these burglary are involved with Laci Peterson's death, Laci and Connor's death. and they needed proof. So they had the videotape. I mean, he had an audio tape of the phone calls. He spent some time recording these calls. He didn't make copies, dumbass, but he didn't make copies, gave them to the police, and when they went to look up the tapes were gone. Police said, we don't know. We don't know what happened to him. So the only bit of evidence to prove that this burglary happened on the 24th and they were involved miraculously disappeared. So are you going to believe the police that have egos, that want to win and don't like to be wrong and only focused on Scott? Or are you going to believe a reporter for ABC who doesn't have a track record of lying? And are you going to believe the police officer who was trying to get the evidence and, went out of his way to record and thought he was doing the right thing? I'm sorry, but I'm going to believe the reporter, and I'm also going to believe this cop long before I'm going to believe a bunch of burglars and two cops that it's political at this point. Not today, I mean back then. You had a juror that was a joke. What kind of influence she had, I don't know. But obviously the Supreme Court thinks it's something because they offered her immunity coming into his trial, his motion to rule cause coming next week if he will get a new trial. Does Scott Peterson deserve a new trial? 150, unequivocally, yes. The other thing that is so important, I don't know, Tommy. I truly don't know. So, all right. There was a little piece of evidence that I didn't remember that was in the autopsy report. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to show you guys. This, to me, is important. And I'm going to explain why. Here it is. Okay. All right. The external exam. Now, I'm going to say this just like I did last night when I read it. I'm going to say Dr. P because the medical examiner's last name is also Peterson. So it kind of got really confusing. Hold on. I'm going to screen share with you guys so I'm not just reading. You guys can read along with me. All right. The external exam revealed no clothing since it was a fetus. There was some material associated with the body, particularly some clear plastic tape. A lot like wrapping tape or boxing tape. Okay? Now think about this. He, meaning Connor, she was 7.5 months pregnant when she went missing. A lot of people say she was like 8.5. She was 7.5 months pregnant. Her due date was February 16th. So she still had a good 7 weeks. 8 weeks. So there's no way that Scott could have done anything to this baby in utero. Because we also know that even after she was killed, the baby was still alive. The baby was still in utero. There some material wrapped around 1.5 loops of plastic tape, not seaweed, plastic tape was wrapped around the neck of the fetus with a knot near the left shoulder. The skin beneath the tape was not injured. Now, this is not opinion. This is a straight autopsy report. The skin beneath the tape was not injured. There was approximately a 2-centimeter gap between the neck and the tape when pulling the tape, so it was firm against one side of the neck. Dr. P removed the tape by cutting it and gave it to a criminalist. Peterson concluded the association between the body and the tape was coincidental. The tape simply ended up on the body. I don't believe that either. There was also some material over the left ear adhering to the head, which Peterson believed to be kelp or some other vegetative material. However, when it was removed, the ear remained folded over and there was a purple discoloration on Connor, which Peterson said is more consistent with the iodine in kelp rather than bruising. Dr. P is not the person who removed the material from Connor's ear. Connor was decomposing in general terms. He weighed 1160 grams, approximately 2.5 pounds. A crown of head measurement could not be taken because the head was collapsing. Crown heel length was 48 centimeters, approximately 19 inches. Based on these measurements, Connor could have reached full term. The skin was quite soft, in keeping with maceration, an effect on tissue soaking in fluid, no vermix on the body. The bones in the skull were overriding, which happens as the brain liquefies. There was a tear near the right shoulder that exposed skeletal muscle and the structures beneath. The tear extended onto the abdominal wall, and portions of the small and large intestines protruded through the tear. There was no scalloping, no curved marks around the edges. Concluded it was simply from tissue falling apart or being pulled apart due to tidal action. It was not due to animal feeding. A portion of the colon protruded from the anus. There was a portion of the umbilical cord present, measuring 0.5 centimeter, and the edge was ragged, like it fell apart or pulled apart. It was not cut. Internal exam. There were no specific changes of either congenital abnormalities or disease. The organs in general were soft and liquefied, in keeping with decomposition. The spleen and kidney could not be weighed because they were liquefied. There was also more liquefaction inside the right side of the chest as opposed to the left because of the tear. The changes were simple, the result of decomposition and immersion. Estimated gestational age was 9 months, based on the crown to heel and the crown to rump measurement. However, the body was soft and decomposing. As tissues decompose, they tend to expand, and expanding tissue can affect the whole body. Dr. P left the gestational age determination to Dr. Galloway, who is an anthropologist. Dr. P could not rule out live birth. Plastic bag found near Connor. Under cross-examination, Dr. P was asked if Connor had been placed in a bag and the tape was wrapped around his neck, having been looped around once and knotted, so that once placed in the water, the baby would have been in a protected environment. If that was consistent with Connor's decomposition and the tape around his neck. Admitted it was possible that Connor's body was protected in some other way, but didn't consider it likely. Peterson was not aware, Dr. P was not aware of the plastic found near Connor when he did the autopsy. They didn't do a flow test. Estimated time in water unprotected. This is important. Estimated time in water unprotected was no more than a couple of days. Well, that couldn't have been Scott Peterson then. That would be physically impossible. Estimated gestational age as part of the autopsy. Peterson took 2 measurements, the crown rump length and the crown heel length. The crown rump measurement of 32 centimeters indicated Connor's gestational age was 9 months. Dr. P did not give details of the crown hair length in his testimony. Dr. P, the crown rump length from my report here was 32 centimeters. Garrigo says, how many inches is that? He says, I'm sorry. He said, how many inches does that translate into? He said, about 15. Garrigo said, no, it's 17. So Dr. P said 17. There's 2.54 centimeters per inch, but I wasn't a math major. Garrigo said, okay, then is there a chart that you used to show to convert to the number of months? Dr. P said there was. Garrigo says, okay, and that chart put the baby's age at 9 months. Is that correct? Yes. Dr. P said yes. 9-month gestational age coincided with Dr. P's external observations. Garrigo says, okay, did you ever tell Detective Grogan, and it looks like he interviewed you on Monday, April 14th at 3:15, is that, I know you probably talked to a number of people regarding the case, but did you ever tell him that the baby was a full-term male infant with advanced stages of decomposition? Dr. P says, that's just what I described in my report, a full-term male infant. Garrigo says, and you also characterized in your report, did you not, previously when you testified, the baby appeared to be a full-term baby, correct? Okay, and when he first came in and you saw him just alone, you had estimated him as actually having been, what, a 9-month fetus, or as actually a full-term infant? Or was that no different to you? Dr. P says, well, what's term, 280 days? So depending on how one measures, and based, again, only on the crude measurement that I could do, 9 months and or full term. David Harris, you were also asked about your determination of age of the body of Connor Peterson. And go to that real quick. Did you list under autopsy diagnosis a particular gestational age for Connor? Dr. P says on the first page of my report, I'll read it to you. I said estimated gestational age was 9 months. Garrigos, now when you talked to Villalobos, what day was that? 14th. I called you, you called him. Do you remember? Doesn't matter. He called me, but I believe it's based on message. Specifically told you they recovered a male fetus. Yes. And the baby was recovered at 4:30 on Sunday the 13th. Yes. All right. He told you that he heard from the detectives attending the autopsy, that there was some evidence the child may have been born alive, correct? And Grogan said yes. And he also told you that there was no umbilical cord attached, correct? That was correct. In his initial report to Grogan, Dr. P said that he was uncertain whether the umbilical cord was tied or fell off because of decomposition, and that he couldn't rule out how that Connor was born. Garrigo said, okay, and Dr. P and you had a conversation after he had examined the body as well as done the autopsy, right? Yes. Garrigo says, and he was unable to state for certain, this is what he told you, whether or not the umbilical cord had been tied at one point along the ragged end of the umbilical cord, correct? Yes. And he also told you that he was just as uncertain as to whether or not the umbilical cord had been tied along the ragged end or whether it had come apart due to decomposition, right? That's correct. Okay. And he also told you that he could not say for certain whether the child had been stillborn or had gone through a birthing process. Correct. That says a lot. A lot. They could tell if a baby ever took a breath by his lungs. Well, according to them, they couldn't. So I agree with you, but according to them, they couldn't. Now, this was tied around Connor's neck. There's 2 knots in this. There's this knot, and then there's this knot. That knot. And the plastic bag. There was enough room under the plastic bag. Mama rocks, you're 100% wrong. That's the problem. I would hope you're not on a jury with me, because all of the evidence points the opposite. And I'll get to all that after. They found all this, certain parts of this after the trial. Not all of it, some of it. And they didn't specify certain things. Like this guy that did the autopsy has no idea what he's doing when it comes to certain things. There's a lot of things that would come out in the next trial. I can guarantee it. But you can get seaweed wrapped around a neck. You can get, like, I'll even buy the whole kelp thing that it folded his ear, the pressure of the water. I'll give you that. I'll even go as far as say something could have wrapped around his neck 2 times. I'll give you that. I'm all with you on that. But it can't tie itself. It's physically impossible for rope to tie itself. It's physically impossible for this. They redid something, but the doctor was afraid. The medical examiner couldn't lift it over his head because it was too tight around his neck, and he was afraid it was going to take off his head, because of the decomposition. That can't happen unless someone physically did it. It just can't. Like I said, you can wrap something tight, but it can't tie its own knot. The odds of it tying its own knot are slim to none. Why did Connor and Laci stay together? Generally stay together. But everything else disappeared. Everything else was gone. They weren't in that water for 4 months. I mean, they were in the water 4 months. Don't get me wrong. They weren't apart for 4 months. It would have been, let me explain this. If she gave birth in the water with decomposition, let's say the baby was full term and the baby came out naturally, which they couldn't have even known because the only thing they had on her was a torso, a hollow torso. So you have Connor, who somehow miraculously stays with her for an extra 2 months. And yet he was in pristine condition. Can you explain that? She's missing every organ she has. She has nothing left of her internally. Nothing. The baby is in almost perfect condition. So did the animals that were eating away at her body not like Connor? Did they not like him? And if you want to believe that Scott Peterson was the mastermind that mutilated her and buried her and all this other stuff, then I ask the question, one, where's the evidence to back that up? There's none. They didn't find one iota of evidence of anything, that he ever did anything to her. Where was he hiding her for 4 months? Where was he putting her? Did he have her trapped somewhere? What happened to the baby? How'd the baby survive? It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now let's go one step further. 7 pregnant women within a 20-mile radius went missing in 2 years. Elaine Hernandez, I think it was Elaine Hernandez, was 8 months pregnant, was missing hands, missing feet, and missing her head. The exact same thing that happened to Laci. Other people, pregnant women. There was a pregnant woman that actually gave a police report, and there is documentation of this, that she was also 8 months pregnant in the Modesto area on the 24th. And it seems that she said that there were guys in a car that were giving her weird looks. She didn't feel right. She went in the back. She freaked out. She called the police. When the police came, they ended up leaving. She was about 10 miles or 10 minutes from Laci. Very, very, very scary. So there's just too many things that point away from Scott Peterson. I'm talking factual. I'm not talking circumstantial. I'm talking factual. Factual like rope can't make knots by itself. It like real knots. It can't do it. What they said was that there was enough, the gap was enough to put a bag in between where this was. Again, my single two pieces of evidence that tell me Scott Peterson was framed is the reporter and the police and I'm not saying the police framed him. The police believing these burglars, it happened on the 26th when there was trucks full. There was more publicity outside of his house on the 26th. I don't know what happened to the 25th, but the 26th, no, it didn't happen on the 26th. That's been proven that it could not have happened on the 26th. But they're running with the fact that it happened on the 26th. And the cops just believe the burglars. No, it didn't happen on the 26th. It happened on the 24th. Did it happen the way they say that Laci went up and yelled at the guy? I have no idea. I doubt it. But besides believing the reporter, the thing that really clinched it home for me was this as well, and not as important. This wasn't as important as the big one, and that big one is you can't convince me. And if you can try, but you cannot convince me that that two people, not one, two people, Connor and Laci, are going to somehow show up at within 20 miles that he was at, that was plastered all over the media. 4 months later. Again, not a week, not 10 days, 4 months later. Not happening. And if you believe Scott was hiding her out, where's the body? Where did he hide her out? Because the cops never found anything. And you have Elaine Hernandez. I'm just going to call her Hernandez because out of respect for the family, I don't want to say the wrong name. But she suffered the same fate as Laci did. The difference is they never found her baby. My personal feeling, whoever set Scott up and killed Laci, they knew they couldn't do anything with Connor. So Connor's dead. I mean, they had to get rid of Connor. That's my personal belief. So, anyone have any questions? As far as the Amber Fry, I got to be honest with you. I always thought Amber Fry was a fucking moron. The girl was like the biggest ditz idiot. Never liked her. Never believed her. They barely had a relationship. They saw each other like 4 times. He was clinging on to her for some reason, but they barely knew each other. Like they made it out like they were sleeping together for 6 years. Like Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger, that was an illicit affair that went on for a long time, probably a lot longer than any of us know, and a lot longer than they're willing to admit to. But Amber and Scott barely knew each other. Like they were like brand new. So I just always thought she was an idiot. Thank you, American Dream. Some things we can't explain. Other things are proven, like everything you did leading up to their deaths. That doesn't matter. I totally agree with you. Okay, let me say this. Thank you, Candy. I agree. Scott, in my opinion, is a fucking psychopath, not a sociopath. He's a narcissist. He's a cheat. He's a piece of shit. And he's a manipulator. I don't know if he's a narcissist, because if I don't believe he's a killer, I probably don't believe he's a narcissist. But I think he's an asshole. I think he is... He's fucked up. You know, you're supposed to be caring for your wife, and you're so worried about your, girlfriend, and so much to that. But just because he's a piece of shit doesn't make him a killer. Stephen Avery is a piece of shit. That doesn't make him a murderer. Casey Anthony is a piece of shit, but a jury didn't think she was a murderer. O.J. Simpson, most likely, killed his ex-wife with his son. But guess what? He wasn't convicted either. We cannot have... Janie, I will drop you a link, and you can come up here and tell me why you think he's guilty. Without the obvious. Because I just gave a whole shitload of reasonable doubt. And let me say this. I can say Christmas pics do not make someone guilty or not guilty. Not all narcissists kill. That's very true. You guys can think he's guilty all you want. But give me some facts other than he's a cheat, he sold her car, because that's not facts. That's not facts that make someone guilty. Just because you abuse your wife doesn't mean you're ever going to hit your kid. That's fact. That's been proven more times than not. That you can be the biggest woman abuser, and be the greatest dad. That happens more times than not in a courtroom. I know that sounds crazy. If you look it up, it's true. That's why, they give custody to parents that abuse the other spouse, as long as they've never hurt the kid. But it's not. The timeline could prove Scott was gone before Laci came back from a dog walk. You have the mailman. There's an overpreponderance of evidence to show reasonable doubt. So again, even if you think he's guilty based on he's a piece of shit. That doesn't make him a murderer who killed his wife and kid. So before you want to throw in he's guilty, the jury doesn't always get it right. I agree. He was not tried by a jury. He was tried by the public. To this day, we have never seen publicity like Scott Peterson got. If Chris Watts would have gone to trial, would have been the same. But we've never seen a trial like Scott Peterson, ever. Not before it, not after it. To this day, we haven't. He's not on death row. He's off of death row. He was resentenced to life without parole. And I really believe he's going to get a new trial. And we'll know in a couple of weeks. Well, not really. We'll hear the trial in a couple of weeks. The week-long determination if there's enough new evidence. Like, this is their shot. Is there enough new evidence to warrant a new trial? They've already given the juror immunity. So I think personally it's looking towards he's most likely going to get a new trial, and it's well deserved. He is in prison and the public got it right. Well, they say the same thing about Stephen Avery, but I know they got it wrong. They used to say that about Ryan, I forgot his name. They said that about Martin Tankleff. He spent 17 years in prison for a crime he did not do. And anyone that knew him knew he didn't do it. But it didn't matter. Public believed he did it. Most of the public believed he did it. Guess what? He didn't do it. People like OJ devoting his life searching for the killer. Nah, I don't believe so. Ferguson, yeah, Ryan Ferguson, thank you. Witnesses said nothing was in the boat. Yeah, witness said there was nothing in a boat at the dock before leaving. Selling the truck is suspicious. I agree with you. Are you still thinking that even though no proof, he probably did it, or do you think he's... No, I don't... The stuff that I showed you about the tying around the neck, and when it hit me last night that, you know, honestly, the odds of the bodies showing up in that spot and no other piece of evidence is there but these two bodies, I think they were placed there. So I honestly believe he's innocent. And if nothing else, if he is guilty, then prove it to me beyond a reasonable doubt. I think he has a wacky personality. Could he have killed? Well, they should be, Weejaw. They absolutely should be, if you remember how the trial went down. He did say some things that didn't make sense. So did Stephen Avery. But I know in my heart Stephen Avery's innocent. I know in my heart Brendan Dassey's innocent. They proved on the boat that he couldn't have, it would have tipped over. And where is he carrying 150 pounds of dead weight? If she was dead, where is he putting a 150-pound body of dead weight? He's just not that smart. Let's say he for sure 100% innocent. He did not do it. Do you have a hunt? I have no idea. Now, Candy, let me also say, could he have hired somebody to do this? Absolutely. That was my original thought 17 years ago, that maybe he didn't do it, but he hired someone to do it. Maybe he hired the guys across the street. Maybe he was paying them across the street. But at the same time, they probably would have come forward already. There's actually a motive for a cover-up in the Stephen Avery case. There's a motive to cover up in every case. Scott Peterson, if he is found innocent, can sue the fuck out of the state of California. There is nothing factual. I watched the entire 86 episodes this morning, plus did some research. Scott, even as a child, was a little asshole, and as a crossing guard, he was the favorite child. If he hired someone, he deserves that. And I agree with that, media. I absolutely agree with that. But he is a... State of Florida messed up their case against Casey. Yes, they did. They definitely did. I know there's nothing factual. The only factual evidence that they presented, was one single hair in the pliers found in his shit, in his tool. I'm telling you, there is hair of my ex who used my tools once. I'm sure they could find a hair somewhere. He's got long hair. I'm sure they could find a hair somewhere. That's not evidence. Hey, Ann. Yeah, one single hair. I don't believe he'll be found not guilty. That's because people aren't looking at the actual evidence. The actual evidence, okay? The actual physical evidence in the case shows Scott Peterson is innocent. The circumstantial evidence shows Scott Peterson is guilty. One single hair. $500,000 reward, no one came forward. What's weird to me is why there was just one hair on ply, because it could have fell off. Wouldn't there be hairs everywhere? Maybe. But they didn't find anything in the house, anything in the car. I mean, you just can't get rid of your hair. I don't know what Lynn's at. You just can't get rid of your hair. Like, they took everything. Vacuums, like, they would know if he, cleaned it up, if they took the vacuums, they checked the bags, they checked all of that. There was nothing out of the ordinary. Was it? Yeah, I believe it was her hair. Prosecution stuffed up. They did. I understand, but the actual physical evidence in the case points away from Scott Peterson. And again, I'm not saying he wasn't an asshole. I'm not saying he wasn't a cheat and an abuser and a liar and piece of shit. But the actual physical evidence tells me Scott Peterson is innocent. There's that. So let me drop a link. Let me set it up. Anybody wants to come up and talk about it? Yeah, it was a horrible neighborhood. All right. The $15K and camping gear, 4 cell phones. If I know that I am the target of the police looking for me, I know that I am going to get accused of killing my wife. I'm on the run. I'm going to take as much money as I can and get as far out of there as possible. Damn right I will. So I don't blame that. I don't blame him for that. OJ is not guilty? Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's another thing. I am not saying... Well, no, I am saying it. I do think he's innocent. I think he's innocent of the murder. He's not innocent in every other way. All right, anybody wants to come up? You're not on camera. It's going to be like a phone call. She was his wife. Of course, her hair would be in a random place. I agree. I would have left, but if I wasn't guilty, I would have definitely told Ellie where to find me. He said he took in and packed the umbrellas because he thought it was going to rain, then goes fishing on a metal boat when he think it's going to rain. My theory to that, I honestly think that Amber wasn't his only girlfriend. I think there was another girl. I really do. You have to connect your microphone. To a person trying to get up, you got to connect your mic. He didn't want to be with her prior to getting pregnant. That's a typical narcissist thing. Once a narcissist wife gets pregnant or girlfriend gets pregnant, they're done with you. I don't know why, it just is. Oh. I do too, Ann. Who killed Tupac? Isn't that Biggie? Wasn't it Biggie Smalls? I do. I think he was set up. That the body in the water 4 months later showing up in the same spot is just too highly unlikely. Kathy, you have to connect your microphone. Kathy, you have to connect your microphone. He was supposed to go play golf that day, and that phony voicemail he sent Laci. How do you know it was phony? I just think the guy was an idiot. The only thing I remember is the house smelling like bleach, and it was said that wasn't how they were usually done. Yeah, but that is... that was the prosecutor, and that turned out to be a lie or something. Suge Knight was responsible, okay, for Biggie and Tupac. Why the police chase? People that think OJ's innocent, why the police chase? Why did Casey Anthony take the police to a job that she doesn't even have? Oh, Biggie killed Tupac. But I agree, you got set up on this case. You spoke up. Oh, spoke up. Hey, KZ, will you marry me? No. Suge Knight killed Tupac, in my opinion. All right. He wanted out of being a husband and a father like OJ. He was eventually trying to flee with a wad of cash. He's a pathological liar and a despicable human being. Just because... That's what I'm saying, though, guys. I would hate to have any of you guys on a jury. You never knew him. You never spoke to him. You weren't personal friends with him. Everyone said he was a great guy. You're basing this on he was a lying, cheating asshole. That doesn't make him guilty. I don't... This is what I fight for every single day, every single case, where people judge it on somebody's being an asshole. That doesn't make them guilty. I'm going to play you guys something. Hold on. I want you guys to hear something. Hold on.
From Wondery. Bludgeoned and stabbed, or because he had a lot of money, he was basically mine. Facebook that they're going, and they rushed Seymour.
It's not it. I want it.
From Wondery.
Hold on. Why can't I find this? Go away. Your mic is off, Linz.
Yeah, I muted myself.
Why? I'm trying to find Martin Tankliff's 911 call. For some reason, I can't find it.
Are you going to play that?
Yeah, I can't find it all of a sudden. I don't know why I can't find it. That was the craziest 911 call I think I ever heard. You can talk while I'm looking for it. Lindsay. Lindsay. Ugh. I don't know why I can't find it. I found it last time, no problem. Yo. Oh, Lindsay. Lindsay, unmute. Oh, she's going to drive me nuts.
I can hear you. I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh, you know why? I know why. All right. What about now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, because I was...
Muted?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I that's why I left. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yo, why can't I find this 911 call? This is like the craziest 911 call I've ever heard. Amber Fry labeled one of her Facebooks as public figure. Exactly. He also stopped wearing his wedding ring. Okay. And he was a psycho. He was an asshole. That you still didn't prove to me beyond a reasonable doubt that he killed her. You know, you have to disprove the physical evidence. If anybody could find Martin Tankliff's 911 call, please let me know. Because I can't.
Okay, I don't know if you want to find that first.
No, you can.
Okay, I just sent you a link. Will you read this page? And I'll just, like, sit here. Oh. And by the way, guys, I'm a little bit sick. Not really. I just have, like, horrible sinuses all of a sudden, so sorry about that.
Aha. Oh. Man, the fucking audio. I mean, it's written out.
Yeah, I know. I asked you to read it.
No. I meant about...
Oh.
The 911 call.
Whoa! Hello! Who's that in the background? Is that my boy Dayton?
It's either Dayton or Fina. They're both playing video games.
Can you read it out loud?
I'm not there yet.
Oh.
Alright, what am I looking up?
I just sent you a link in the private chat. Will you click on that and then read it out loud, and I'll just be quiet while you read it.
Oh, private chat.
On StreamYard?
Oh. The Ralston Theory. On January 6, 2003, Sergeant Tim Helton, MPD, contacted Gene Ralston for help in the search for Laci in the San Francisco and other waterways. Ralston is a renowned underwater search expert. Ron Cloward also spoke to Ralston, who volunteered her services with only expenses to be reimbursed. On January 13th of 2003, Ralston met with MPD, which is Modesto Police Department, and was assigned to search beneath 4 bridges in local freshwater lakes and reservoirs. Since a water dog had alerted under the Lake Tulloch Bridge, Ralston first searched there and found a large garbage bag filled with the remains of a deer. Ralston next searched under the bridge spanning New Melones Lake, where other water dogs had alerted. Ralston did find something, apparently a large plastic bag, but it was anchored to the bottom at a depth of 300 feet. Ralston was unable to recover the bag. Based on images from other searches for Russian mafia victims, Ralston dismissed the find. Let me repeat that. Based on images from other searches for Russian mafia victims, they dismissed the find. Ralston first became involved in San Francisco Bay searches on January 18th of 2003. Ron Cloward assigned Ralston to start from the Berkeley Marina and head towards the west end of Brooks Island, where something number 4 was located. Investigators already theorized, okay, again, they already said that Scott tied the boat to bury her tied the boat to a buoy in order to steady it while he dumped the body overboard. There is absolutely no evidence of that whatsoever. They had found red paint transfer on the boat and hoped it matched to one of the even-numbered buoys in the area, which were painted red. Ralston worked in the area around buoy number 4 and thought some images were of particular interest. Square-shaped objects near an object 65 inches long. He reported this to Cloward, who sent other teams to search in the area, but nothing came of the searches. The map shows the location of the discovery. In March, Ralston returned and helped the divers find the 2 solid square-inch concrete anchors, but they were tossed back into the bay because they were not similar to the ones that Modesto police already believed Scott had made with the picture as shown in People's 122. This is not helping your case, Lindsay. On March 12th, using GPS coordinates provided by the MPD for water dog alerts, he searched the area marked with the red X in the map below and located an oblong object he designed target 2. The object was the shape and size they expected Laci to be, wrapped in plastic or a tarp with weights attached, and appears to be the same object Ralston found on January 18th. The next day, they scanned the same area and saw an object that looked more like a body than target 2, and it was dubbed target 1. Ralston says that the image he saw on the screen was that of the head, neck, shoulders, and most of the back of a prone person. He also says that the body was covered with crabs, and the torso had no clothing, but streams of light-colored fabric floated above the lower portion while she was wearing dark colors. Ralston believes that what he saw on March 13th was Laci's body based on where she was found. Piecing all the information we have now, I believe it probably was Laci Peterson, Ralston said, but he admitted at the time there was doubt. At the time, the police kept this find by Ralston a secret, fearing Scott would flee. This map shows the location where the body was found and its relationship to Brooks Island, the Richmond Marina where Connor's body was found, where Laci's body was found, and the Berkeley Marina clicked to enlarge. Strong winds came up on the afternoon of March 13th, preventing the divers from bringing either Target 1 or Target 2 to the surface to be examined. Ralston said he was unable to retrieve the objects on the 13th because of the choppy waves and murky waters caused by high winds. On the 14th, when Ralston, Cloward, and others returned, the ROV could not locate either Target 1 or Target 2. However, Ralston claims that on the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, both targets were still in place. A team of commercial divers from Tracy didn't arrive until March 25th, but by then both targets were gone. Ralston also claims to have recorded images of a dragline, allegedly the body being moved by the tides dragging the anchors. The dragline follows the trajectory for Laci's body in the map above. On May 2nd, after the bodies were found, Detective Dodge Hendy contacted Marine Technologies for a second opinion on Ralston images. They did not agree that it was a body, and Ralston was not asked to testify at the trial, nor was his theory presented as evidence that Laci was in the bay. Instead, the state went with Dr. Chang's theory that traced Connor back to Scott's fishing route. People who promote the Ralston theory, such as Loretta Dillon, author of Stone Cold Guilty, and the blog Misfits, argue that Scott made a trip during the night of the 23rd, 24th to the bay and launched from the Richmond Marina because he would not have had time to motor the 4 miles to the site of Target 1 during his fishing trip on December 24th. That's already been proven to be a lie. It's the state and the defense have already seceded that she was alive on the 24th. So that theory doesn't work. This was not a good thing to read because this only supports my theory. So, there you go.
Are you serious?
Oh, God, that sounds terrible.
Doesn't sound terrible, but the problem is that just said was used.
Why is she coming out like that? Oh.
Me?
Yes. I don't even know why it's coming out like that.
What?
Oh. I removed her. Hey, Rachel. No. Lindsay, go out and come back. The other fisherman who saw him said there was no body wrapped up in the boat. And we already know that she was alive on the 24th. Even the prosecution agreed she was alive on the 24th. We have to ask somebody that believes he's guilty. He lied about everything to everyone because he was covering something up. Absolutely. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm a pretty good judge of character. And I'm telling you, I don't think he did it. I think he's guilty of everything else. I don't think he's guilty of this. As far as the actual killing her. The physical killing. Yo.
Hey, are you good?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. I don't know what that was.
I don't know
Okay,
either.
so this whole theory, okay, so, you know, this guy is a renowned underwater search expert. He literally did it for free. Just he wanted his expense covered. At the bottom where it says that the state instead went with the Dr. Chang's theory that traced Connor back to the Scott's fishing route. So this same website, which is the exact same website that you had the Connor's autopsy thing from,
Yeah.
it was saying that Dr. Chang, like, that was proved junk science. Like, and I don't agree with the way that this prosecution handled it. They just did whatever made it easiest.
No, they did it whatever made Scott look the most guilty.
I'm meaning easiest for jurors to get, because this might be hard to explain. Their version of things that doesn't make sense, that makes it seem like the Dr. Chang's theory was. Anyway, you can look through that, but basically, like, this same exact website is saying that the Dr. Chang's theory that the state used was completely
garbage.
Junk science.
It was.
Yeah. So, right. So the prosecution chose to do that, but they also had this.
But this was bullshit. This was all hearsay.
What part of it's
This was all hearsay. This was what I just read was complete hearsay.
This is a
Dude, when they went back the next day, they couldn't even find the targets, but they found them the days after.
It says that they were unable to. How would you?
They didn't find them on the 14th when they went back, but they were intact the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Is exactly what it said.
Yeah. And then the team of commercial divers from Tracy didn't arrive until the 25th, and then they were gone. How is that bullshit?
Okay, I'm not arguing with you over somebody else's theory that wasn't even admissible in court. This wasn't even admissible in court. It's a junk science theory.
No, they gave a junk science theory. This is admissible
Lindsay,
in court.
I'm not arguing with you over something that was not even brought into court. No, sorry, not happening. That's arguing to argue some guy's theory. That's like arguing.
It's not some guy's theory.
Laci
this is
was
a private consulting firm.
Yeah, but it wasn't in the trial. They didn't even think it was important enough to go to trial. They dismissed it. The guy, it was not that great if they dismissed it. It's like I can't bring up the witnesses that saw her because they didn't bring it to court.
Okay, so the website you just read is literally a consulting firm that is working for Scott's Innocence Project. That's where I got this.
Okay.
This website is being like very fair. Like here's what the defense thinks in this case. Here's what the state actually used, and here was another. So, as far as I'm not trying to bring in bullshit that was inadmissible.
But it was inadmissible. It wasn't admissible. It wasn't pointless.
Inadmissible. They just didn't put it in.
That means it's inadmissible. The people that ran it, it says right in it. The people that ran it, hold on, let me pull it back up. The guy, Ron Clower, to sign Ralston to start, hold on, I went too far ahead. Okay. Where was it? Yeah. On the 14th, when Ralston Cloward and others returned, the ROV could not locate either Target 1 or Target 2. However, Ralston claims that on the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, both targets were still in place. A team of commercial divers from Tracy didn't arrive until the 25th, and both targets were gone. But,
the thing is, though, the reason that the state didn't use this is because this would actually hurt their prosecution. Because this whole thing is saying that, because they were doing the whole fishing thing. So their person they had to bring in had to say, well, this is where he went on his fishing boat. This is saying this is where the bodies could have been dropped for it to...
Okay. He claims to have recorded images of a drag line that never was surfaced. They brought it to somebody else who knows it and says that it was not, that it was not a body. They contacted Marine Technologies for a second opinion on his images. They did not agree that it was a body. And Ralston was not asked to testify at trial. I'm not arguing something that was not in trial. I'm not arguing some random theory. It doesn't matter how smart the guy is. It's a random theory that was never proven. And what he thought he did see, the Marine Technology said, no, that's not what it was. You want to argue something that was actually in trial? I got no problem with it. I'm not arguing some dude's theory. Facts are facts. This is a theory that was proven that it wasn't a body. And that was from the detective who contacted somebody who said it wasn't a body. And the theory was never presented as evidence. Oh, CW is guilty as fuck. I said CW is guilty as fuck before it even happened. When everyone was saying, no, maybe she did it. No. Chris did it 150 fucking %. I mean, it's just, Lindsay, I'm sorry. I'm not arguing something that is not even in trial and was deemed pointless and was deemed wrong. Just because somebody's smart doesn't make them right. I mean, look at the doctors and the experts that defense and prosecution had. Sometimes people are just idiots. The Marine, well, you can't prove it because the divers were gone. Well, he thought it was a body and somebody else said it wasn't a body. Someone higher up said it wasn't a body. So one of those you can't prove or disprove. The fact that they were found apart means nothing. The fact that they were found in the exact same area at the same time proves something. Amber is an idiot. Tommy, I've explained that 4 times already. If you don't want to buy all the other stuff I said tonight, go back to the reporter. The reporter specifically said nothing happened on the 26th. But the cops were so dead set on believing that it was Scott that they just said, oh, okay, criminals, we'll listen. You guys said it happened on the 26th, we'll go with it. That's how fucked up it was. Sorry. Let me disprove that theory, VZ. I'm going to disprove that theory right now. First of all, Connor's organs were still in him. Connor, besides being liquefied, was perfectly intact. But she was missing everything inside. So did fish just not like babies? Did they not want the baby? Because if they ate all of her organs, but yet Connor was attached to her, well, how does that happen? How would they eat all her organs around Connor? They wouldn't. If they were munching on her so badly, they would have eaten him too. And they didn't. So her body was not eaten while he was in utero. So what happened to her for 2 months? Think about that. Kania, then so be it. I'm okay with that. I am perfectly okay with it. If you want to unsub me because I'm proving facts and all you guys are telling me is a liar and a cheater, then unsub me because I don't need you. I don't need shallow-minded people. And that's the difference, Kania, between me and most, is that most people care so much if they have subs or not that they don't stick true to who they are. So I'll be happy sticking to who I am, and I'll be okay with it, believe me. Hold up. Sadie, I never said that I had a preponderance of evidence that made his innocence. I said there is a preponderance of evidence to prove reasonable doubt. That's what I said. So if you're not going to quote me correctly, you can leave with Kania. Connor was protected for a while. Okay. So they ate through her, but they ate around the body? they wouldn't have eaten her stomach? Come on, that doesn't even make sense. There's no logic in that. And if they ate her after he floated away, then how did they stay close together? There was no umbilical cord. So how did they stay close together? Raquel, that's what I'm saying. It's a little more than Scott being a liar and cheater, but it's not. Reasonable doubt doesn't prove evidence, and I don't think that's reasonable doubt. What don't you think is reasonable doubt, Sadie? You obviously haven't heard everything. There is definitely plenty of reasonable doubt. Absolutely. And he would have been dead already. If they would have kept with the death penalty, yeah, a fish can't put tape around a neck. Certainly can't. And they can't tie a knot. Connie, I do. Do you see yourself blocked? No. You think someone else planted the baby's body later near her? I don't know. But Evelyn Hernandez was found in the exact same condition as Laci Peterson was, except her baby was never found. Coincident? I think not. Hernandez's body was found floating in San Francisco Bay just beneath the city's landmark Bay Bridge. Police have not figured out what happened, but 5 months later, the fate of another young and pregnant woman who mysteriously vanished would become a national obsession. Earlier this year, her body was also found in San Francisco Bay. That was Laci Peterson. Unlike Laci, Evelyn Hernandez has not gotten the massive publicity that's become so crucial in solving missing persons. There's no shortage of these. California alone, 17,000 women were reported missing last year. This was in 2006. Discovery in another part of town. It also raised suspicions. It was a wallet with two $20 bills and a check made out to Evelyn Hernandez. It was found just a day or two after she went missing. A story out on primetime. The baby wasn't attached. The baby was found, and the next day, Laci's body was found a mile away. Correct. After Connor was expelled, her organs were eaten, and his was not. And what happened to her head, her arms, her feet, and everything? All eaten within 2 months? And he was perfectly intact a mile away? Yeah, I'm not buying that. Sorry. It just, logic tells me not to keep that. No, I said it's from 2006. I think it makes it more interesting if we don't agree. I'm inviting anyone that wants to come up here that can give me more. Nobody can say there's no way to explain that sort of thing. They haven't been able to explain it. That's part of the fight of him getting a new trial. Amber wrote a book. Amber cashed in. Completely cashed in. Yes. There were 8, I don't want to misquote, I think there were 8 missing pregnant women that were 8 months pregnant within a 80-mile radius of, and all found in San Francisco Bay. Okay. Seven months before the very pregnant Laci Peterson went missing from a home in Modesto, the very pregnant Evelyn Hernandez disappeared from San Francisco. Peterson, a perky middle class, Hernandez, a legal immigrant and single mom. Hernandez was 24 when she disappeared. Laci, I believe, was 24 as well, right? Right? How old was Laci? She was in her early 20s, I believe. According to family and friends, she was excited to have another baby. Hold on. I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, Susan. That's not what I was looking for. Okay. Oh. All right. Evelyn Hernandez, found in the San Francisco Bay. Fetus was never found. 5-year-old son still missing. Tony Clark, pregnant, disappears. Angelina Evans, 8 months pregnant, disappeared, Sacramento, 2001. Gonzalo Loremi, 8 months pregnant, disappeared May 3rd, 2002, near Fresno. Guadalupe Arias, 8 months pregnant, last seen November 2001. Jeanette Gomez Espelada, 8 months pregnant, last seen 1998. Okay, so all of these women are 8 months pregnant. All disappeared from the same areas, roughly the same ages. You think there's somebody doing something for 8 months pregnant? All in the same area? It's a little odd. All the pregnant women were health conscious. Many were pregnant or thought to be pregnant. They were articulate, attractive. Another common factor is the number of bodies that were found in water. We have completed extensive research on Perry Monroe, who was implicated in the murder of LaDonna Milan. Monroe apparently used a hacksaw to dismember Milan. He put her torso, arms, and legs in a fishing pond at Veterans Memorial Lake, and the hands were found in Monroe's car. The head and feet were not found at either location. Monroe's case was disposed of very quickly and quietly as he was committed to a mental institution. And these are just women missing from the Modesto area. They were all 8 months pregnant. Rarely getting any media attention, these vanished women may never be found. One mother expresses the pain that they all must feel. It's interesting. It says, we have done extensive research on the number of missing pregnant women in the DOJ records. Their disappearances are unsolved, perhaps because no one in law enforcement is looking for a common denominator that identifies this as a serial killer pattern. Reviewing this information might change some minds about the possibility there's a serial killer is responsible for Laci's murder. I will drop the link if anybody wants to read it. There's the link. And there's a lot more women on there. I just use the one I just happen to say the ones that were pregnant. Because he's an idiot and he's a cheat and he's a narcissist. That's why. That doesn't make him a murderer. And we'll see if he gets a new trial. You know, all you people that are saying, you know, let's see what happens when he gets a fair trial. Because he did not get a fair trial. I didn't say I didn't think he was a murderer. That's not what I said. If you guys are going to quote me, then quote me correctly. I didn't say because he's a liar and a bad guy, so I don't think he's a murderer. That's not what I said. I thought of that too, Tommy, but there's no evidence. No, that's not what I said. I said he's a liar, he's a narcissist, he's a piece of shit. But that doesn't make somebody a murderer. That's what I said. I didn't say I didn't think he was a murderer based on that. I said that just because you're a liar, a narcissist, and an abusing piece of shit does not make somebody a murderer. There's plenty of people out there that are liars, pieces of shit. That doesn't make them murderers. That I did say. That looking at the evidence, I'm not convinced that he did it, is what I said. And I'll keep saying it. Yeah, I could do that. All right, question number 1. I just posted it. Did it post? There it is. There you go. Question number 1. Take your poll. If it was a serial killer, how'd the dog get back to the house? Don't know. No, he definitely didn't get a fair trial. I know a lot of guilty people that will tell you he didn't get a fair trial. I mean, he really didn't. Mama Rocks, let me ask you a question. What if you're wrong? What if he didn't do it? All these people that have him hung, let's say he has a fair trial. Let's say he's found not guilty due to a preponderance of evidence. What are you going to say? The justice system got it wrong? As a juror, you can't base shit on emotion. You don't want to base stuff on emotion. You want to base it on facts. That's why Casey Anthony went free. Because her trial was based on evidence, not someone's feeling. We all know she's guilty, but they couldn't prove it. And as much as I hate to say it, the jury did exactly what the fuck a jury is supposed to do. And if there's not reasonable, if you have evidence with reasonable doubt, then you do not convict. That's what our system is based on. And that's why Casey Anthony walked free. Same thing with OJ. But more Casey Anthony. They listened. They did everything they needed to do. They had reasonable doubt. They did not base her guilt on emotion. They based it on facts. Does anyone else have motive? A serial killer does. I find it a little strange that that Hernandez's body was found in the same condition as Laci's. Casey Anthony does need a new trial. I agree. No, it doesn't, Lindsay. But there are bodies that are in water a lot longer that their organs aren't eaten up. Even in the San Francisco Bay. See, I've never been on a jury. I can't wait to be on a jury. They already ruled out from the markings it wasn't fish. The burglars across the street could have taken her very easily. Damn right they could have. I've already read what he said on that. I'm actually getting off in a minute. I got to make a bunch of candles and labels. Everyone dog before us don't know could have found its way home. I mean, I'll look at it. I don't have a problem looking at it, but I'm not. I can't stay on much longer. Nah, Casey Anthony can't be retried. Either can OJ. It's double jeopardy. There were 2 attempted kidnappings in the area the night before she was reported missing. Correct. I would be a jury master. Yes. The poll of this one was, do you believe Scott Peterson deserves a new trial? 49% to 51% said no. Okay. It's pretty split, 50-50. Sheba, that's not true. I just read you statistics in Modesto. Women that were 8 months pregnant. Yeah, it was pretty 50-50. 51 to 49. Denise, why did the cops lie? Why did they lie about what day it was? That's not what I got. Oh, it says, do you believe Scott Peterson deserves a new trial? No, 50%, yes, 49%. So that's like half. But there were only 63 votes. I don't know why more people didn't vote. Is Scott Peterson... No, I don't want to ask guilty or innocent yet. Do you believe Scott Peterson is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Okay, question number 2. I wouldn't take a polygraph. You couldn't pay me to take a polygraph. Hey, Allison. I've been on for hours already. Because remember, it's not a matter of, is he guilty? Is he guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Meaning that you have every single question checked off. You can explain every single answer is a reasonable doubt. I totally agree, Paul. I would make a great juror. No, Sheba, don't. I learned that. I want to say I learned it the hard way. I used to think like that too until I went through a 6-year custody fight and watched somebody sit there and lie through his teeth and the judge bought it. No, you don't take a lie detector test. You never offer information, innocent or not. Do not ever allow a policeman to walk in your house. Like, there's so much stuff you learn. Whether you're innocent or not, you do not speak. This is interesting. Do you believe Scott Peterson is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? 50-50. That you are the type of juror that was on Scott's trial. Yes. There were some people holding out. And that last juror came in and all of a sudden they found it, they did it within a day. Come on, guys. There's 185 of you in here. Take that vote. Even if you're not chatting, you could still vote. Main concrete anchors just for murder important. Yeah, but the concrete anchors, there was only one he made. The affair and him being a liar are not why he's guilty. I agree with that. There was a $500,000 life insurance, but he wasn't in debt. To counter arguments, Laci was dismembered intentionally. Dr. P said there were no tool marks, but that didn't prove none had been used. Okay. It's not to do with understanding a body acts in water. And once somebody is in the water and dead, however, they get there because of gravity, center of gravity, the arms and legs are heavy, and the body floats face down with the arms and legs hanging down. Initially, typically, the body also sinks. So at this point, we have a body with arms and legs hanging down low in the water, meaning down as far as it can go. In other words, close to the bottom at that point due to tidal action, current, etc. That body is going to move along the bottom with the arms and legs hanging down, and those parts that are low are subject to being injured by stuff at the bottom. Rocks, debris, ship parts, whatever happens to be down there. It's by a combination of decomposition and tidal action alone. Even in the absence of animal activity, the parts that are hanging down can be lost. And the parts that do hang down would be just that. The forearms, the legs, the head, the neck, and so forth. Now, of course, the other possibility is in a marine environment is that animal activity is involved as well. As I said earlier, there can be a larger animal activity, larger fish, sharks, and that depends what's there. And I could go with that, Lindsay. I could even buy that, except for one thing. Connor was intact. I think you're more open-minded than they are. Oh. All right. Any more votes coming in? All right. With 74 votes, I'll wait till it gives me the final. All right. Do you believe Scott Peterson is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? 51% said yes, 48% said no. So again, it's 50-50. Final poll. Okay. Now the final poll. Do you believe Scott Peterson is guilty? He was in his mama's belly or a bag from what I heard earlier. Well, he couldn't have been in a bag. No, you can't plead the fifth. You got to take the poll. Whew. Take the poll. He was found guilty. Guess what? A lot of people are found guilty and they're innocent. I agree, Pine. Totally agree with that. Pine Mountain, you're 100% right. Mama Rocks, I've given it so many times. I mean, I really don't think I could have been any clearer. My angle is that there is enough proof. There is absolute enough proof that there's reasonable doubt. And in our justice system, I've said this 1,500 times, in our justice system.
You look so cute. Continue. Finish your sentence.
What?
I was going to tell you something. Finish your sentence.
I'm live.
Finish your sentence.
Just what?
I was going to say Dad tried manipulating me again.
What?
Dad tried manipulating me again. He tried turning the story around about Grandma and Grandpa.
All right, tell me after.
That's what I'm saying. Finish your sentence.
Why did he dye his hair? Because he was on the run. But dyeing your hair doesn't make you a murderer. So, Danny, research it. Just research it. Before you give an opinion, just research it. So here's what I'm going to say. And I can't make it any easier than the way I'm going to put it. Our justice, and I've said this probably for half the cases I've discussed. Our justice system is set up and designed that you don't base it on opinion. You base it on a preponderance of evidence that doesn't leave any room for reasonable doubt. If there is the slightest inkling of reasonable doubt, then you should not convict somebody. In the case of Casey Anthony, there were things that that jury could not explain because the prosecution did a bad job. There were loopholes. When I say loopholes, meaning that her attorney found a way, Jose Baez found a way to get around those loopholes. He found a way to put reasonable doubt in a juror's mind to get his client off. That is what good juries do. That is what good lawyers do. Good lawyers put reasonable doubt in a jury's mind, where all you need is one juror, just one, to second question saying, but wait a second, guys, what about X, Y, and Z? What about this, this, and this? And you should never, especially in a death penalty case, when there is reasonable doubt and things are not adding up 100%, even though you believe this person is guilty, even though you definitively, like, I know they did it, but it's not a matter of what I think, it's what they proved. And as so many things as Garagos may have left out, Garagos definitely proved reasonable doubt. He definitely put it out there with evidence and experts and everything else that this was not a shut and closed case like many others. This was plenty of reasonable doubt. And because there was so much reasonable doubt, Scott Peterson should not have been convicted of the death penalty. Now they overturned the death sentence, so he's got sentenced to life in prison. But after 17 years, his appeal attorneys have finally put together enough preponderance of evidence to prove that Scott Peterson deserves a fair trial, not based on people's emotions, not based on the fact that he's a piece of shit, but on the actual evidence of Laci and Connor. And it's just the way it is. So there's a such thing as a good lawyer, absolutely. So therefore, in my closing argument, I will say that in the case of Scott Peterson, there is enough evidence to show reasonable doubt. Therefore, he deserves another trial. If in that second trial, it turns out that a jury convicts him based on evidence, I'll never talk about the case again. because I do know that he didn't get a fair trial. And if the evidence proves that he's guilty, so be it. If the evidence proves he didn't do it, so be it. But most importantly, the evidence cannot prove, cannot leave any I dotted, not dotted, and any T uncrossed. It has to go 150% shut case. He did it. Like the guy that, dismembered his parents, 100% this man did it. There was no reasonable doubt. There was no question that this man did it. That's what I'm saying. I really hope he does get a new trial. I do. I love you too, Krista. But we can use experts when it helps our argument, but dismiss same expert. I agree with you. I agree with that, Lindsay. But I'm not on trial. The amount of decomposition, the location of the baby, and the correspondence to where Laci was found, okay. Huh? So again, if he gets tried again, if the judge gives him a new trial, which I believe they will, and like Jodi Arias, there was no doubt in my mind Jodi Arias was guilty from actual evidence, from, forget the camera, but actual evidence of her path that she took. There were many, many things that left me 100% that woman is guilty. Chris Watts, the evidence that I had, that I knew of, that we had, Chris Watts was 100% unequivocally guilty, even though he didn't have a trial. But again, when you have some reasonable doubt and some things don't make sense, like the burglary, you can't just blow it off as, well, all right, maybe. No, you can't do that. That's not how our system is designed. And that's why so many fucking jurors get it wrong. So many juries get it wrong because they don't follow the rules. They go by their own feelings, their own emotions. Scott Peterson's juror said, well, he wasn't really making any expressions. Well, maybe because you're not supposed to. Like, there's just so many things they don't know. So, $500,000 is a maid mode, so is girlfriend. I'm not saying it's not. I'm absolutely not saying it's not. Where's Hernandez? There's just too many things. The media had him convicted before he was ever arrested. Damn right, I would run too. Gabby, I said the exact same thing. No way, Jodi. Jodi, there was no doubt. How he acted at the vigil, I totally agree with you. Maybe he was happy his wife was gone. Doesn't mean he killed her. You guys are telling me on emotion. I'm telling you on, I agree, Alexis. I said that last night. I'm not going on emotion. I'm going on facts. There is enough facts to show reasonable doubt. Plain and simple, there is. And that's the only thing that matters, is that there's reasonable doubt. I don't need to prove he's innocent, but there is reasonable doubt. And that reasonable doubt, if I was a lawyer, it's the thing I would say on every fucking closing sentence. Closing line. No, it was proven, Allison. He did have a bunch of affairs. Would you date him if he was released? Oh, hell no. He's a fucking cheater. Media had Casey and that's a good point. That really is a good point. But she wasn't convicted because they did exactly what they were supposed to do. That jury did exactly what that jury was supposed to do. And they did it right. I'm not saying she's right. Not enough circumstances deserve another trial. If he's found guilty again, then so be it, as long as it's a fair trial. And his first trial was not fair. And to end the poll, let me tell you, hold on, we'll wait for the final rally. Do you believe Scott Peterson is guilty? 69% said yes, 30% no. Okay, let me tell you something. All it takes is one. If one of that 30% is on a jury, then Scott may walk. Oh, turquoise, there was nothing about it that was fair. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that even believe he's guilty, but no, he didn't get a fair trial. And he didn't. Some women are attracted to convicted killers. I am not one of them. Believe that. So, all right, I've been on way longer than I thought I was going to be on. So, I'm going to shut down. And that's it. So, I've already given you my opinion, so I don't need to do it again tomorrow. I may take a day, and we're going to start Holly Bobo on Monday. But I will definitely, shut up, Lindsay. But I will definitely keep you guys up to date. It seems that they are starting either the 25th or the 27th. They are starting on Scott Peterson's hearing. So I got to do I got to do more candles. All right. I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Love you, Lindsay. If it is proven that Scott hired others, what do you think should be his sentence? He should still get life in prison. If you hired others to do it, then you're just as guilty. That's just like you doing it. That I agree with, Danny. But again, all they need is one person. They don't, all right. People say, how wasn't it a fair trial? Because a lot of the people on the jury lied. A lot of people stated things that were not true just to get on the jury. That's not what our system is designed for. That's not a fair trial. That's how. So, hopefully I didn't get 1 million unsubs like Kylan thought I was going to do. I can live with it. So, I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful night. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Or Monday. I may take off tomorrow. I don't know yet. Hearts Heard candle. Kind of great. I like... Huh? I like the fame and view. Alright. So they're not throwing out evidence. They can't throw out evidence. I don't think you like other opinions. I unsubbed. So that means I can take your wrench. I do like other opinions as long as they are, give me facts. So, oh, the flame. All right. All right. I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful night and don't fight with anyone. Peace. Oh, don't forget President's Day sale. Oh my God. What am I thinking? President's Day sale. 15% off. IntrepidCandleCompany.com. Luxury Candles NYC. Code is President's Day 15, all capital letters. All right. I will see you guys later. Have a great night.